Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Softlock Podcast. This is our first episode back after Games of the Year 2025. Took a little bit of a break. That was a big episode for us. Me and Jonathan, we're just going to hang out today, talk about some games. Wanted to give you an update on what we've been playing, because we haven't talked to you guys for a while. This will be a bit of a shorter episode, a mini-cast, if you will. Kind of just wanted to get something out there, have an excuse for me and Jonathan to just kind of hang out and chat for a little bit, and then we'll be back with a real episode, probably like early next month, all about Resident Evil. That's the plan right now. So Jonathan, how you doing today? You ready to talk about some games? How you feeling? And did you guys get hit with that big snowstorm?
I'll raise you a question that I've been dying to ask you. Would you be mad if we were mentioned in the files? Because
I'm gonna slap you upside the head and let you start talking about some video games, because you're taking us down a dark path right now.
That's valid. That's valid.
What did you want to talk about? Because, you know, we kind of haven't had a lot of chances to talk over the last couple weeks. I've been so busy, and we've been playing Minecraft, so, you know, when we're gaming, that's the subject of conversation, is the mining and the crafting, not the other games we're playing. So, what you been up to?
I just wanted to talk about a good old, plain old, what we've been playing episode, the classic tale of two gamers, because everyone wants to know what we've been doing. Every single person on the planet. There's people in Congress wondering what we're doing, and here's our answer. And
I mean, if I could just listen to people that I know tell me about what game they're playing, that's like I would genuinely enjoy if I could just like look into someone's brain and see what video game they're playing, because I just want nerds to nerd out at me.
Yeah, but you ever hear someone talking about a game that you really like, but they're not getting it, and you're like,
yeah,
and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, it happens a lot actually when I talk about my games to Sam.
I wonder if people have that experience with us sometimes, where I'm just like, I don't understand this game. I don't understand Silent Hill F, and there's someone behind listening to it on like taking a shit or something, and they're like, oh, he doesn't get it.
I don't know. I came pretty hot after that Monster Hunter food, and I feel like there were some people out there pounding their desks.
Yeah, you were controversial in that, except for the Wilk food. I'm not a fan of the Wilk food, but we don't have to talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about that more when we get that G rank expansion, presumably this year.
I'm ready.
I'm ready too. I'm excited to see what they have cooking up. They're taking their time, but I guess it feels like it's a long time, but it really hasn't been a long time. I just want that G rank.
Yeah, it's been Monster Hunter episode, so.
Yeah, I think Wild's released in April or March.
I think.
Yes, it's almost a year. I imagine they're gonna drop that G rank soon. But I didn't fucking play Monster Hunter Wilds recently, so this conversation is pointless. You know what I have been playing recently that requires no analysis, no opinions, no right or wrong opinions, no nothing?
What?
Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and
Holy
Sapphire
shit.
on the Game Boy Advance.
I can't believe this. I can't fucking believe this.
What are you talking about?
I love that game so much. Have you ever played it before?
Oh yeah. This was like a young lad staple for me. I just had that. That was like the ancient version of Phone Balatro. It's like, oh man, I'm kind of bored. I don't know what to do. Oh, let me launch up some Pokemon Pinball.
The Game Boy Advance, Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. It's probably my favorite pinball ever. And I like pinball. I was playing pinball yesterday, but I think Pokemon Pinball is my favorite.
Real pinball or virtual pinball?
I mean, yesterday I was playing real pinball. I was playing John Wick pinball. But
I'm so pissed off. When I went to Pittsburgh to visit you, and we were at that place with all those pinball machines, and they had like the Iron Maiden pinball, and then it was cash only or whatever at a cashless bar. I kind of started
ridiculous.
Sparks were shooting out from me, so I'm so jealous because I feel like I could totally get with some pinball, but they're just like not around anymore. You have to go to places that like have pinball, like that.
Yeah, the pinball arcade. Mm-hmm. That's like their whole thing. You got to pay just to get in, and then all the games are free. I don't like that.
Me neither. But that's why we have Pokemon Pinball on Game Boy Advance, which is a really, really good idea. and the fact that they have never revisited it is mind-blowing to me.
So, it's been a really long time since I played it. Is it, there's like the different levels. I remember there being like a Whalmer one, right? Is it like a progression? Like, do you have to do them in order, or is it just straight up pinball, like jump in, just hit the paddles?
No, there's two fields. You have the Ruby field and you have the Sapphire field. They have different layouts, but they're pretty much the same. They offer the same things. They have different Pokemon though. So you're gonna have to do both fields, and you're gonna have to aim your ball in different locations. Like I'll say that because the way it works is that you have to, the pinball is the Pokeball, right? This is for the viewers at home, the non-experts who have not played Pokemon Pinball and have to play Pokemon Pinball. Right now, you have a Pokeball. That's your pinball. You have the paddles, and you shoot the Pokeball all around the board. And once you light up the get lights, or it's spelled GET lights, or the hatch lights, or the Evo lights, which is evolution, then you can either catch a new Pokemon, hatch a baby Pokemon, or evolve a Pokemon you already have. And those things are in different locations for the two maps. Some are easier than others. I think it's a kind of a subjective on which one you find easier or not. I find the Sapphire field much easier than the Ruby field. The Ruby field is kind of like a bizarro placement for me, where I don't know, things are just ever so slightly difficult to reach. Like getting the to the Pokemart. You need to get like a good shot down a straightaway in the top right. You need to hit the door, and then you need to hit it back up there again. And I just have a really tough time getting it there. Meanwhile, to get like the Pokemart on the Sapphire map, there's like like an electric barrier that's being powered by like a Plusle and Minun. You need to hit the both of them, and then you can go into the Pokemart into the Sapphire map. So it's like shit like that. But for the most part, it plays pretty much the same. It offers the same things. Another thing is that I do think the bumpers, not the bumpers, but like the the ball bouncers in the top right. Mm-hmm. That in the Sapphire field, it's Shroomish or whatever the hell they are. Those like weird mushroom Pokemon. In the Ruby field, they're I don't know what they're called, actually. I'm not really... you don't catch them.
The ones with the lights on their antennas, right?
Yeah, those guys. And you need to hit those to kind of, like, coax the Pokemon out once you start catch-em mode. So I think the Ruby, getting the catch-em mode on the Ruby is harder than getting... Chincho, yes. Getting the catch-em mode on the Ruby, because hitting the Chinchos, I think is a slightly harder location. But getting the, the Shroomish are much easier for me. IMO. But other than that, there actually is... They do offer different bonus stages, which is more of a progression, like you said. Mm-hmm. Ruby gets... The first bonus stage, after you catch 3 Pokemon, you get Kecleon. And then you catch 3 more Pokemon, you get to fight Groudon. And then 3 more... I think after you catch like 100 Pokemon, then you can fight Rayquaza. Meanwhile, in the Sapphire field, you fight a Dusclops, and then you fight Kyogre, and then you fight Rayquaza. So, those differences as well.
So you're just high score chasing then, in like that's why you're gaming, or like what are you getting out of it? You're just hanging out?
I like hunting for the Pokemon because when you start the the run, I guess you could say. You have to... It randomly chooses what is it? Not setting. Environment you're in. So, like, are you at a beach? Are you underground? Are you in a volcano? And that determines the handful of Pokemon that you can catch. And then if you can, hit this switch on the left side of the screen, and then you could travel to a new location. So I like just racking up Pokemon, essentially, because I'm trying to fill out my Pokédex. Because once you get 100 Pokemon on your Pokédex, then you can start catching the rare Pokemon. That's kind of your end game, I suppose. I have 55 right now, so I'm trying to get to 100. But yeah, I just like filling out the decks, even if you are doing like the same thing. Like, there's no real difference between catching a, I don't know, Whismer and catching a Wingull. You know what I mean? Like, you're going into catch-em mode, you're going and hitting the bumpers, and then you're hitting the Pokemon 3 times, and then you catch it. But, you know, there's variety between the 3, because when you do the hatched Pokemon, the little tiny Pokemon, I don't know, it's like a Wormpole, like runs around the screen, and then you kind of have to like catch it. Meanwhile, like the regular Pokemon stand still. And then when you want to evolve a Pokemon, you have to get 3 specific zones on the field to get your EXP up, or get like a Water Stone or some shit like that. And then you have to go to the center of the map, and then you could evolve it. So, you know, it's just like variations of kind of like the same thing.
Yeah. I think it's a really good pinball game, just in that, I mean, it's kind of impressive how accurate the physics feel on a Game Boy Advance game, right? Like, it feels like a 3D game with real physics, but it's not.
Yeah, well, I actually think, because this is the second Pokemon pinball game. I think the first one was on the regular Game Boy, and I might be wrong about this, but I'm actually pretty sure, maybe it was Kirby Tilt and Tumble, but I think it came with like a rumble pack. Like, you snapped it into the Game Boy, and it gave like rumble feedback, and actually even like a gyroscope. Like, you tilt the Game Boy, and then it like tilts the ball. That might be. I think that's Kirby Tilt and Tumble.
No, you're right, because I've seen that cartridge, because you have to put a battery in it.
Yeah, you have to put a battery in it. It's like a whole thing.
And I think you're right. That's the original Pokemon Pinball.
Yeah, it's either the original Pokemon Pinball, or it's Kirby Tilt and Tumble, or it's both.
I think it's both.
Really, I think it might be both. I don't know. It's a weird thing that they did, and I don't know. I thought it was cool. I'm surprised they didn't bring it back, but I really feel like Pokemon Pinball could have been great on the 3DS. I don't understand why they didn't do that, because, you know, there's a Kirby pinball game, there's fucking Metroid pinball game, there's a Sonic pinball game, Pokemon pinball. How come they just kind of like all stopped at the same time? Like, the 2010s hit, and then they were like, we're never gonna do pinball ever again.
Because I realized it was a lot easier to make match 3 games instead, and for some reason that's what they started doing.
Yeah, Pokemon Trozoi or whatever.
And hey, I like Trozy. I like Cafe Mix or whatever it's called, but it's no Pokemon Pinball.
I would have preferred Pokemon Pinball. I think, you know, they did fucking Metroid Prime Pinball on the DS,
which was cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Come on, jump into give me some fucking Metroid Prime Pinball on 3DS or something. Give me Pokemon Pinball on 3DS. Imagine X and Y, Pokemon Pinball X and Y on 3DS. That would have been good. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I have such nostalgia for the Game Boy Advanced Pokemon games. Like, Sapphire was my first Pokemon game, and then Leaf Green after that. Just the way that they look, and like the pinball, obviously, it shares like that art style. I just love that pixel art style. Yeah,
I do like the Game Boy Advance. I think it's a slept-on console, frankly, because there's some really great games made for the Game Boy Advance. I'm playing some more Game Boy Advance right now, actually, as we speak, in my hands. No, like the past couple of weeks I've been playing a lot of Game Boy Advance, and, you know, they're porting SNES games onto that shit. There's RPGs, there's tactical RPGs, there's action games, there's platformers and Metroid games and Castlevanias. So much variety on that, you know, very limited console. I mean, it has an A and a B button, and then like L and R. You know, very limited. But they made it work. And, you know, speaking of Metroid Prime Pinball, I also just ran up Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion in the past month.
That's quite a run. I mean, I've never played Super Metroid, but I know how well loved it is.
Wait, what? That's crazy.
No, I've never played Super Metroid. It's like a stain on my Metroid history. But
you got to get on that yesterday.
The only ones I haven't played now are 1, 2, Super, and Dread, which admittedly is a lot of them, but in terms of like all the 3D games and all the other games, I think my record's pretty good.
Those are like the best ones.
I don't know, I just played Samus Returns, and I think that was a really good one.
Oh, well, yeah, that's 2. You don't need to play.
Yeah, I know, but I have a Game Boy, so like I feel like I want to play it. I know it's like miserable, but
I wouldn't. It's like playing the Castlevania Game Boy games. It's like there's no reason. But I will say, like, Metroid Zero Mission is a pretty good remake of the first game. Modernizes it, I think, very well. Samus Returns obviously is kind of like the comeback of 2D Metroid that they basically just like dropped out of nowhere on the 3DS before making Dread. And then what was the other one you missed? Dread?
Yeah, I haven't played Dread yet. I haven't.
Yeah, everyone loves it. But yeah, Super Metroid, you gotta hop on that.
Yeah,
that's like
I know.
the one. I played Super Metroid before when I was a teenager, and I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. But I played it again, as a big boy, and I was like, damn, this is the best map ever, except for Meridia, but that's fine. But like, it's a Super Metroid is amazing in how it respects the player. Like there's no tutorials, doesn't tell you a single thing, no like dialogue. That's a problem in Metroid Fusion. So there's so much dialogue in the beginning. I was like, oh my fucking god! Like, what is it? The Adam Malkovich AI. Yeah, is like, Samus, you have to go do this thing. Is your directive clear? And it just tells me exactly where to go and gives me the map immediately. And I'm like, oh, what are we doing? And then meanwhile, Super Metroid is like, go. And then you just find your way naturally. I think it's one of the best designed maps I've ever seen in gaming. I wasn't lost a single time. I knew exactly where to go. Or even if I was like, oh, a dead end. It's like, wait a minute. I know. Let me check my map. Oh, this is an area that I haven't explored yet. I just got this power up. It was just like smooth sailing. It's the best map I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had this conversation before, but for many years, Super Metroid was considered the best video game ever made. And
yeah, which surprises me because it's not. But
I mean, I get it.
Aspects of it are.
But when it came out, I mean, think about when it came out. It had to have been the Breath of the Wild of the time. It was so flawless at what it was trying to do, and that's like what everyone talks about. I can't wait to play it because everyone talks about how just like the greatest Metroidvania map ever, and how you just like find your way from point A to point B, and there's no like getting stuck and backtracking and all that, which admittedly isn't a bad thing, but I don't know. I'm excited to play it.
Yeah, it's genius. I think you're really, really gonna like it, and it just makes me miss that kind of game, where games just kind of, because that's so intimidating. Sometimes when you start a game, like I started Expedition 33, and that game is very heavy on like the tutorials, where it's just like, every time for the first like 3 or 4 hours, anytime you do anything, there's like a pop-up that's like, this is your chroma, and this will restore all your health, and it's just like, okay, and that's like every 3 minutes for the first 4 hours. So I kind of miss old games that just don't tell you anything, but they naturally let you figure things out in a like low-risk environments. Very intelligent way of designing your game. Just be able to just like start up your game, and then you're just playing the game. There's no like learning curve. I'm not learning to ride a bike. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, here I go.
How are those abilities?
In what? Super Metroid?
Yeah.
I mean, they're fine. It's like this is the part of Super Metroid that like isn't really like Super Metroid has amazing exploration, combat, less so, because especially the bosses, dude. I saw a comment once that was like, Super Metroid bosses. Like, I love Super Metroid, but put a man in a room with only Super Metroid bosses, and you feel like you're, like, drunk in an alleyway, like, slamming against each other for, like, 5 minutes. And that's what it feels like, because Samus is very large on screen, and usually the rooms are pretty cramped, because the room that you usually fight the bosses in are, like, typically, like, one screen, and the bosses are usually massive and fast and have a pretty erratic moveset. So you kind of are just like slamming against each other, just being like, fuck, please. Especially like, I don't know, like the Golden Chozo near the end that only takes damage from super missiles, but you have to waste a super missile first for it to catch the super missile out of the air, and then you can use more super missiles on its stomach, but you need to be at a specific angle to hit its stomach while it's holding on to your super missile, leaving its stomach vulnerable. and you just are just slamming your face against it. Thankfully, there's a lot of opportunities for recovering health, so like you're not like losing constantly. But yeah, those boss battles, you're just like, fuck, man, please get me through this. I'm begging you.
Yeah, the bosses in all these Metroid games are usually pretty tough. The thing that's worrying me.
Oh wait, let me make it clear. They're not tough. I mean, they're tough. Like they're pretty tough, but they're like bad. They're like not good. Especially the water dragon. Dude, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you get to that part. You're gonna go, what the fuck were they doing?
Yeah, I don't love boss battles that are, cheap and hard for no reason. The thing that I think will frustrate me the most, and I don't know how you feel about this, so Metroid Fusion, excellent game, and it was like so good that I got through it basically like in 3 settings, and I just loved every little bit of it. I love the combat. I thought all the weapons were really fun to use. Then now I've moved on and played Samus Returns. And I don't think I can go back to not having the 360 aim in 2D Metroid. How's that transition? Because I really don't think I can stomach the 8-angle aiming anymore.
Honestly, it's not too bad because your weak points, like the weak points don't really require you to need like full 360 aiming. It's not that finicky of a system. Like the game was still designed to be on the 8-point aiming scheme, you know what I mean? And most of the time you're just gonna be using angle up, which is just holding down the R button, and then Samus just aims her beam up. So I mean, it's really not a big deal. Like they only started getting creative with that shit like once Samus Returns came out. So don't even worry about it.
All right. So what did you think of Fusion?
I
love Fusion.
I like Fusion. I like Fusion a lot, but I don't think it holds a huge candle to Super Metroid. I like a lot of things that Fusion does, such as I think the combat is actually good. Like fighting the fodder enemies isn't just like worthless, because the Super Metroid fodder enemies that you just saw around the map just kind of like crawled along walls and were just kind of a minor nuisance. But now you actually kind of like fight things. The bosses are very difficult, but they're actually like designed. They have like movesets that you are supposed to dodge and then take advantage of a counterattack, like an opening. The Super Metroid doesn't have that. The real problem I have with Metroid Fusion is that the map is just like leagues below Super Metroid, in that it's separated into zones, and it tells you exactly where to go the whole game. There's not a lot of interspersed exploring, like Adam tells you to go to Sector 1, you go to Sector 1, you do the objective there. Adam tells you to go to Sector 3. It's out of order for some reason, but you pretty much just go to sector by sector, and then even at near like the end of the game, you're still just going like sector by sector. You know what I mean? Like you're not like dropping in like randomly. It doesn't really feel like a living, breathing world. It feels kind of like almost like I'm playing like Super Mario 64, where I'm going into a sub-world. Like I'm in the hub and then I'm dropping into the sub-worlds,
I feel that. Yeah.
So
I kind of felt that way about Samus Returns as well. It's not really all connected. Which, I'm a big Prime person, and that's one of my favorite parts about those ones. So I can see why that might be a turnoff.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a turnoff, but they did a lot of fixing with the whole like abilities and stuff. I think that they handled the missiles very well. Super Metroid kind of has like a little too many items, I think, because you have the missiles and then you have the super missile, and they're all separate things. So there's the missiles and then the super missiles, and then there's the like the grapple beam, and then there's the X-ray goggles, and then there's the super bombs, and you have to select them by toggling like the Y button or something, or maybe it's the select button, and so you have to go down like a list. So you have to like anytime you want to switch from missiles to the grapple beam, you have to hit like Y like 3 times. And then if you want to deselect it, you have to hit Y like 3 more times, or you can hit like select and it just unequips your thing. But I didn't figure that out until like much, much later. Metroid Fusion fixes that by just having the super missile, and then ice missiles, and then another like missile upgrade, which was like the missile refractor, which like lets you charge the missiles and it does like a big AoE effect. It just upgrades them directly instead of them being separate things, which I was like, oh, okay, that works. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually really like that about Fusion, that like you didn't have to learn new controls or just toggle anything. You just kind of got better as you went along.
Yeah. I do miss the X-ray specs though. The X-ray specs were really good, I think, in Super Metroid. Instead, it's replaced by super bombs. I don't know. So, when you're like doing the collectathon at the end of Super Metroid, you have like the X-ray specs, and you're kind of like going room to room, and you're like, this room's a little suspicious. Let me use my X-ray specs, and then you scan the room, and you're like, oh, there's a secret right there. Super Metroid Fusion doesn't have that, so instead it's replaced with you like going into a room and being like, I don't know. Let me just drop a super bomb, and then it like blows up everything, and then if there's a secret, it just gets blown up, and you get to see it, and you go, oh, okay, here it is.
Yeah.
So a little bit of that mystery is gone, but because like it's just like one solution most of the time. There's some doozy, like extra things to find, like sub tanks or whatever to find, which are pretty cool. Makes use of the shine spark and stuff like that, but nothing too difficult. But yeah. I mean, it was good. Good game.
Yeah. If you don't mind me talking a bit more about Samus Returns, because I don't think I ever talked about it on the podcast. I just like fell in love with this new version of Metroid. So I can't wait to play Dread, because it's just like, it's so smooth. There was something about Fusion that like, traversing in Fusion is very fun, especially with, the space jump and all that. But despite how beautiful the pixel art is, it all just kind of feels a bit chunky moving around. Samus in Samus Returns is like gliding on air. Like you can go anywhere so fast, and it's so fun to control. I'm more in favor of how the movement works in these newer ones than in the older ones, but to each their own. And then the other thing is, I was shocked that I never got spoiled or heard about it, but that they teased the Metroid Fusion remake at the end, and that
they
never
did do
happened.
That. Yeah.
Which is probably for the best. I think it's better that we got a Metroid 5 than a Metroid Fusion remake, but I think that still is on the table. I think we could see it, and probably like soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was. I don't know. I mean, Metroid Fusion, I think, drops in like right after. Wait. No, never mind. I was gonna say, Metroid Fusion is right after Metroid 2, but that's not true. It's right after Metroid 3, I think.
Which is Super Metroid.
Which is Super Metroid. It says it right in the beginning. Yeah, it is cool. Mm-hmm. Metroid 3 has a really cool opening where you start the game and it's like Nintendo presents like Metroid 3. You're like, oh, ooh. But that's weird that they would tease a Metroid Fusion remake and not Super Metroid, considering that Super Metroid comes like right after. But yeah, I do remember that because the what is it, the SAX parasite or whatever, which I remember now. I mean, I think, I don't think Super Metroid needs a remake. Well, if it got a remake, it would only be because of the terrible boss fights, except for Crocomire. I like Crocomire.
Is that the big fat green dude?
No, that's Kraid.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, whoa, this is wild. Actually, you don't know a damn thing about Kraid, one of the most iconic Metroid villains.
I know him from the trophies in Smash Bros.
Yeah, it's just funny because you've missed every game that there's that Kraid is in.
Yeah, I think I need to do some catching up.
You do. There's really scary concept art of Kraid in Metroid Prime, and he has like a really scary helmet on. You're like, oh! You just look it up of Metroid Prime Kraid, and it's really frightening.
Looking at it right now, it is very scary. Okay. So you're gonna continue this Metroid trend? Any plans to play Dread or other ones?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it eventually. I'm gonna, switch around. Gonna avoid some burnout. Can't just be playing the entire series in a couple sittings. So I'm gonna switch around to some other series.
You know what would switch things up?
What?
Metroid Prime.
Okay, yeah. I would
When are you going to play
drop
Metroid Prime?
Probably soon.
You have to.
I own it. I just have to do it. And now I'm actually up to it. Like, that's like the next one. Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime were released like the same year. Metroid fans
They came out on the same day.
Well, that's weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah, but it's just like one of my favorite weird facts is that they put out a GameCube Metroid and a GBA Metroid on the same day.
And they're like full games. You know, Metroid Fusion is like I thought it was going to be kind of like a short one, but no, it's a full experience. But I will say, I don't know which one comes first on the timeline. I'm pretty sure it's Fusion. I think Metroid Prime is like not its own timeline, but essentially like its own like thing. Like I think.
Yeah, it's not really connected. I mean, it is.
Yeah, I mean, like they are, but like I think Metroid Prime happens like so far after Metroid, like the 2D Metroids that they're like they don't even matter or something.
I think they take place like within the releases, but it's like even the mainline 2D games. It's not like they're really they're barely connected.
I don't know. I actually would disagree with that. At least the first couple, like they are pretty much. They're very connected more than I thought they would be, because like Metroid Zero Mission happens and then 2 happens like right after Metroid 1, and then like they follow their plot lines like immediather like
they do.
Samus goes to the Metroid homeworld in Metroid Samus Returns, Metroid 2, and then Super Metroid starts right after 2 ends, where she gets the baby Metroid. She's like, well, she drops it off at the research center, and then it starts out. What is it? The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace. And then Metroid Fusion is like right after Super Metroid, when she's like, damn, that whole planet blew up. That sucks.
Yeah, I guess my point is like, yes, they're connected, and they do have the little flashbacks at the very beginning that show you what happened at the last one. But it's not like there's real narrative through lines that matter.
Play them and come back to me.
I guess, but I don't know. It's like Fusion is the only one where she even has like dialogue. So, you know.
That's true. That was weird, and it only happens at like the end. Like she's just like, you know, like aye, sir, essentially the whole game, and only at the very, which I actually thought was a cool thing that they did. Like she's just kind of like taking orders the whole time. She's like holding her tongue, like all right, I'll do it. And then at the end, when she finds out that they're creating like homunculus Metroids, and like, or yeah, they're creating like clone like Metroids from like the SAX Parasite or whatever. She finally like starts talking. She's like, I'm not fucking doing this. This is ridiculous. And I thought it was pretty cool. But also, I'm looking at a timeline right now. Prime happens between Zero Mission and Metroid 2. So like Zero Mission happens, and then all of the Prime series, and then Metroid 2, and then Super Metroid, and then Metroid Other M, and then like Metroid Prime 4, then Metroid Fusion and Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
Because Metroid... There's a lot. And like Metroid Dread, because there is like certain things, like she becomes... Like Metroid Fusion, she's like has like a parasite in her, so she has like a bunch of Metroid DNA in her, and that's like a whole that's like a thing for Dread, is that she's got like Metroid DNA in her. And I know that for a fact. Like she has like a whole like she's different. She's kind of like Alien Resurrection kind of thing, where Ripley has like alien DNA in her. And I mean, it wasn't a very good movie, but like that was like a whole thing. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting actually how they did it, because but you are right that, you know, it's not like you're playing the Metro games for like the plot. You're like, oh, she's gonna talk about how like this happened and this happened, because you know these games are plot heavy. So you are right in what you're saying, and that there's not really like strong connection, but I think there's very interesting ways that they connect things, like how when Ridley like dies in when you kill Ridley in Super Metroid, he's like dead. He's like really dead. Like he like he doesn't come back. Like he's dead. Like confirmed like dead. Same thing with like Mother Brain. I don't know. I feel like in my head, I thought, oh, Mother Brain is like iconic. She just keeps coming back, and we just don't know why. Like no, after Super Metroid, she's deceased.
Yeah.
Same thing with I'm pretty much like every one-off villain. Not one-off villain, but like Kraid dies in Super Metroid. Doesn't come back.
I mean, the X Parasite doesn't come back.
X Parasite. Well, actually, in Dread. So Kraid is in Dread. I will say that Kraid is in Dread, but there's some like shenanigans. No one really knows what's up with that. They're like, no one knows if Kraid is like if that is like the Kraid, or if Kraid is like a species, or I think it's also implied that like because the X Parasite can mimics organisms, and I think it's implied that like there was like an X organism that was like mimicking Kraid. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, just weird shit like that.
Yeah, I mean the connections
Dread.
are like interesting. The way that they use them. If you're a super fan, you're like gonna pick up on that. I think the lore and the story in Prime is way more interesting just because of the like sheer bulk of lore that you get to read about throughout those games. And then 2 and 3 are like directly connected. One's kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited for you to play Prime, and I actually bought a Bluetooth receiver for my SNES Classic, so I can use a wireless controller. So I'll be playing some more of my SNES games soon. So hopefully Super Metroid will be one of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot you had that the mini SNES. That'll be good fun. That'll be good fun.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm on the Metroid wiki. Oh yeah. No, sorry.
You're good. What's on the Metroid wiki? I like Metroid. I want to talk about Metroid. What's up?
Samus's father, his name is Rodney Aaron, the husband Rodney Aaron, and the husband of Virginia Aaron. Rodney's only in-game appearance is one of the child mode endings of Metroid Fusion. What? What is the child mode? Adult mode and child mode are game settings exclusive to the Japanese versions of Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission. These settings enable or disable kanji in the game to make it easier for players, particularly young children, to read text and follow the story. Additionally, the use of child mode in Fusion affects the endings. Child mode endings depict images of Samus Aran reminiscing about her past, including being raised by Old Bird after the raid on K2L. Oh. That's kind of cool, I guess.
Interesting. I wonder why they didn't include any of that content. Or maybe they did in the American version. I don't know, but I don't think they did. I don't think there's multiple endings.
Japanese companies had these really strange like rules for American audiences. Like, not back then, but like, I would say before 2010, Japan still like did weird shit with their localizations. They either made them like really, really easy or really hard. Like, I know that the American ports of like Final Fantasy, the SNES like old Final Fantasies were like much easier. Meanwhile, games like I don't know, Contra Hardcore is like significantly harder, borderline impossible because of like rental like sales or something like that. They needed them to come back for like rentals. They couldn't have the kids beat it over the weekend, so they made it like impossibly difficult with like no continues.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it sucks. I played all of Contra Hardcore, like all 4 endings. In Japanese. I have no idea what happened in the entire game.
Why did you do that?
Because I really like Contra Hardcore. It's a really good game, but playing the American version is impossible. It's like it's not doable. You can't do it.
I'm skimming the Metroid wiki now because you got me on here.
Okay. Yeah.
The Zero Suit, known as the Body Suit, prior to Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So they just came up with that? For Smash?
Yeah. I mean, the Zero Suit? Yeah, I think so. Huh. The Zero Suit was never, like, something, like a thing. You know
I know it's not a thing. It's like what is it? Is it Zero Mission the first one, or Other M, or I don't know. One of the newer ones.
Zero Mission, I think, was the first one to have, the actual, like, the Zero Suit that we're familiar with in, like, Smash Brawl. Like, that when she, like, came out. Mm-hmm. Because there's that whole segment at the end of Zero Mission where, like, you beat Mother Brain, and you're like, oh, I beat the game, and then the game's like, nuh-uh, we still have, like, a fifth of the game left, and you're in, like, the Zero Suit, and you're running around like a stealth section. Actually, probably the best segment of the game, so you have to get on that.
Yeah. I don't know, I just thought that was interesting that they came up with that for Smash. I just thought that
It is really weird. That design was not made up for Smash, but I think the name was made up for Smash.
Yeah. Okay, let me take you somewhere else, because I haven't played Samus Returns for like 2 months, so I don't have much more to say about it.
Understood.
So I only got time for one. I'm gonna choose your own adventure this.
Okay.
I can talk about Ball X Pit, Kirby Planet Robobot, or I can talk about my first 30 hours with Mewgenics.
Oh, talk about Mewgenics.
Okay. All right. Because I'm definitely going to come back for a full review, but that could be like hundreds of hours from now.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Mewgenics, for those who don't know, even though it's become shockingly popular, is the new game from the creator of The Binding of Isaac and Super Meat Boy. Both of which I'm huge fans of, so I was like locked in. I've been following this game since 2013 when they were updating it daily, like the Smash Dojo, to like give new stuff about the game. Back then, it was actually more of like a WarioWare style game, but
Jesus.
Yeah, it's morphed over the years into a tactical strategy roguelite game about cats. And the whole shtick is that you send these cats out on roguelite runs for like grid-based strategy battles, and then they come back and they have baby kittens that inherit their stats and their abilities and their visuals. And then you send those ones out, and you just keep breeding better and better cats until you can breeze through the battles. But the problem is, if you lose the battles, then you lose the cats, so you can't make new ones. So it's kind of a, push and pull balancing act of, do I want to send this guy out because I think I have a really good chance at beating that boss I've been stuck on, or do I want to keep him back home so that I can, raise the next generation to go take on that boss? And so far, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I think it's really good, but it's got a lot of problems and also a lot of stuff that I just can't quite figure out how I feel about yet. It's very dense. So I don't know where I want to start this. Jonathan, did you have any questions about the game? Because I know you haven't tried it out yet.
I mean, it's just a wild premise. It's a wild game, and also it's wild that it is insanely popular right now. Like, I was assuming that, the Binding of Isaac guy, he's made the Binding of Isaac for almost like a decade and a half. Like, that was like the only thing he made. And then he's like, I'm dropping a tactical strategy game, Fire Emblem Children Unit-esque experience with cats. It's totally new. Please buy my game. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna sell like no copies. Like, no one's gonna buy this because this is such a departure from Isaac. And then it dropped. And I think it became the highest grossing roguelike on the platform with the most concurrent players like ever.
Yeah, it has the highest concurrent player count of any roguelite ever. Which
blows my goddamn mind. So my question is, I mean, it's clearly fun. Is it that fun that so many people can get into it?
That's the thing, is I actually don't think that the beginning is that fun. But it has... I think the reason it became so popular is basically the word of mouth from... Because you say, Macmillan made Binding of Isaac so long ago, and that's basically all he's been working on. It's not really true. He put out The End is Nigh, and Fingered, and The Legend of Bumbo in those years, and those games kind of suck. Like, I don't know. I know some people like The End is Nigh.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of those games. I thought they were pretty bad.
Legend of Bumbo, I don't even like... I mean, I don't even know what to say about Legend of Bumbo. Like, what was that, even?
They're all just like these half-baked ideas, but this one is like he locked in and actually put some effort into making a real game. But the reason I bring that up is like the reviewers who got this game early, I think it was like 100 people got to play the game for like a month before it came out. Like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. The reviews were like stellar. And then you get into the game, and I mean, it is addicting. It's got that roguelike thing. I mean, he's obviously had a lot of time to figure out what makes a roguelike good from tuning Isaac over and over again.
Right.
So it is addicting. It gets its claws in you, and it keeps you wanting to come back for more runs. And there's this loop that makes you want to stay. Like, it's not even just one more run. It's like, I just want to stay in this game. I have all these other things that I can be doing I just need to spend a little bit more time with this before I'm done for the night kind of thing. So the word of mouth, partnered with the addictive nature of it, partnered with what I have to assume is a stellar back half, is what is causing this like giant groundswell of people playing the game. It's like hard to talk about because I just don't really know what I don't know. Because there's Act 1, which I've played. There's Isaac style, you go through several, for all intents and purposes, floors, several maps, where you do a couple battles, and then there's a boss battle. And then after that, you can choose to take one route or another, that both go to different maps. And then after that, you're kind of done. You get back home, and then it pops up with Act 2. And in Act 2, you start on a different map that has its own set of courses that you can go through. But it's so much harder that I don't think there's like not a chance in hell I would ever be able to get through even the first map. Which tells me I have to spend a lot of time breeding these cats to get their stats up so that I can take on Act 2. So I have to continue playing the Act 1 stages to get my cats better and better so I can take on Act 2. Presumably there's going to be an Act 3, maybe even an Act 4, because these games just seem to go on forever. But while I'm grinding Act 1, I find there's these side quests, and now there's more levels to explore in Act 1 that are harder than Act 2. So, I don't know, there's a lot of different things you can be tackling. It's just like Isaac, there's a million different objectives that you could be going after at any given time, and you always feel like you're making progress towards something, even if you lose a run, because you found something new, you unlocked something, you discovered a new mechanic, and that's just the actual, like, combat part of it. That doesn't even touch on, like, the breeding of the cats and item management. And there's a town, like, not city builder, but city builder adjacent kind of situation where you can build your house and decorate it. And the decorations have different stats that help you get better stray cats or help you get mutations. And then there's people in your town that these people want you to give them kittens, and these people want you to give them dead cats, and these people want you to give them cats that are fucked up. And all of those are unlocking new layers to the gameplay, whether it be combat or otherwise. And then there's this other thing where it's on a calendar, like a real calendar, so it goes through the seasons, and there's days of the week, and the shops restock on certain days of the week. And once every 2 weeks, this giant cat comes to try and fuck up your house, and then you get to send out your best cats to go fight this thing to defend your house, and if you win, you progress the story, and if you lose a bunch of your best stuff.
Oh, just like in real life.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Just like in real life. And there's just so much all at once at any given moment that it's kind of hard to see 10 feet in front of me to understand what's coming next.
This just sounds like Darkest Dungeon. I feel like you just replace any word, every word of that description makes sense, and just replace cats with heroes. And then you have
I from the parts of Darkest Dungeon I remember, there is a lot of that in here. With picking your heroes per se, and like figuring out what traits they need, and then coming back to the town building and all that. There's also a lot of Isaac in here, which I think is to be expected. I would say probably about 20%, if not more, of the items you're using are just straight up from the Binding of Isaac. And they're like, tongue-in-cheek, like you get the D6, but it doesn't re-roll things, it gives you random upgrades. And you're like, haha, I get it. There's also a lot of Fire Emblem, which I also think is to be expected for any tactical strategy game. But I particularly am calling out Fire Emblem because there's a lot of the maps are laid out in a way that you want to, I guess this is just all tactical strategy games, but stick with me. They're laid out in a way where you want to partner up your characters and position them in a way that will bring the enemies to you so that you can lay a trap and then act out that trap with the abilities your characters have, rather than trying to rush in and just, attack everything that you see and be aggressive. It's much more of a defensive style game. Also, there are weapons, not quite similar to Fire Emblem, but the way that they act is like certain characters will be weak or have a higher dodge chance if you have a certain weapon, or bows and arrows are less effective the closer you are, they're more effective farther away, that kind of thing. There's also cats named after Fire Emblem characters. Like, I have an Edelgard cat in my squad right now.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so they kind of wear their influences on their sleeve quite often, but they iterate upon what these games have done in the past and kind of make their own thing out of it.
Can you not rename your cats? Or...
You can't. You cannot.
Oh.
The cats come with a random name, a random voice. There's like hundreds of cat voices from different, celebrities and voice actors, and they come with their own visuals. They come with their own personalities, problems. I never thought I'd be saying this, but it's really heartbreaking when you get a really good cat and then you find out that they're gay, because that means they're not going to have babies with the other cats, so you just have to have this one really good cat that you're never going to be able to pass their traits down onto other cats with, and then you just got to love the cat. You got to love the gay cat for who he is, not for what he can be, and I love all my cats equally. That
was the craziest thing I've ever heard you say.
Right? Ever. Like, there's a lot of stuff where you're like, I can't believe I'm dealing with it. Like, my cat got COVID. And
no!
Now I'm like, well, fuck, this cat, this was like my stud. I wanted him to like breed so all my cats could have the multi-hit attack, but now he has COVID, so do I risk leaving him here so he can pass on those traits, but then it's contagious and all the other cats in that room are gonna get it, or do I just dump him? But if I dump him, is it gonna be worth it? Or just today, this will be an anecdote of a run that I had. I went out with a strategy. I had a tank who had negative intelligence, but so much health and so much armor. And then I had an archer named Little Morton. And Little Morton had dwarfism. So all of his stats were reduced, but he could run really fast, and he had really high dexterity, which is what increases ranged attacks. So I made him an archer. He was a little baby guy. He had 4 health, and I just put him behind the tank. Both him and the tank had an ability to put up a wall, or crate, so I could block off, attacks coming from one side. Then I had an attacker who, his whole thing was he could charge, like, infinite range across the board. And so every round I would go in, and then I'd heal her, but every round I would go in, I would set up Little Morton behind the tank, set up a wall, then charge my attacker in to distract all the enemies, bring them towards the center, so Little Morton could pick them all off in one hit. But my attacker had an item that casts random spells, and so I would basically charge in there and then cast random spells to like put debuffs on all the enemies. But whatever random spell he cast gave him psychosis. So at the end of his first turn, he would get a status effect that made him AI controlled and wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a teammate and an enemy, and also get all stats up. So my perfect plan ended whenever this dude would run out there, get crazy, and then run back in, push the tank into Little Morton, and his big fat ass would kill him instantly.
That's the type of emergent gameplay that we're looking for these days. That's very Dwarf Fortress Caves of Quud coded.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of that stuff, like if you light an enemy on fire and then they move, they're going to leave a trail of fire, and the fire will light the grass on fire, and that's going to spread. And if you use a lightning spell in water, then all the enemies that are in that water are going to get affected by it. Lots of stuff like that. One of my favorite interactions I've seen so far is I had a character where if he hit a teammate into an enemy, then that teammate would get a free attack on the enemy, and because if you push someone into another cat, they take 1 damage. But if I did it with this specific situation, they would take the 1 damage, and then my player character would get a free attack for 10, 15 damage or whatever, and say they have like 40 health. So it's pretty useful. And then I got an item that made it so he does 0 damage to teammates. So now I can just shove my teammates as much as I want, and there's like basically no repercussions. But then I got a status effect on one character where anyone who touched him would burst into flames, and I didn't know that. So I pushed him. My character burst into flames. He was standing in tall grass. It spread. All my cats got lit on fire, and then my run was over. So
excellent.
It's a lot, but I'm really having a good time. It's just so much.
When a run ends, it's not like you don't start from the beginning, do you? It's like a Darkest Dungeon type situation where you only lose your characters, right?
Sort of. If you lose, if you lose all 4 of your characters die, you lose them, and then you go back, but you also lose all the stuff that you gathered. And,
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
But the problem with that is that the cats that live in your house take up one food per night per cat. And so if you use up all your food to make kittens by like passing days, and then you send out all these people and they're supposed to go out and recover food and money, and then they die, you come back, you don't have any food, you don't have any money to buy food, so all your cats are going to starve, like start starving to death. So then you have to send out a weakened group the next day that are starving, so they have bad stats, to try and just desperately get whatever they can and bring it back. Because you can end runs early if you want, and keep whatever you've recovered. At the end of every map, so every like boss, you have a chance to just go back home instead of continuing on to the end of the next map. But you get significantly less resources and less rewards, and then it keeps passing time, so then the giant boss that's going to come attack your house is getting closer. It's a lot of push and pull. Well, it's a balancing act.
That's Darkest Dungeon, baby. That is literally, it sounds exactly like Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll fuck with it a lot.
To this. Yeah, if you like Darkest Dungeon, you're probably gonna like Mewgenics, and I do like Darkest Dungeon.
And I think you're gonna fuck with it because of the strategy. I mean, it's a real strategy game. It's not like watered down or anything. It's got a lot of depth to it.
Which I do like.
And great music. Just fantastic music. It's unbelievably good.
I think I'm gonna wait until that first sale drops, and then I'm gonna pick it up.
I think you should, but there's a couple things that I don't really love about it, so I'll try and go through those kind of quickly so we can wrap up here. One of them is that I don't think it controls particularly well on anything but a mouse.
Okay.
And so I've been playing a lot on my Steam Deck and using the touchpad as a mouse, which has been working like totally fine. It's not like bad or anything. But the controller layout is just abysmal. Like you have to use an analog stick as a mouse cursor. There's no like D-pad. There is D-pad functionality, but it doesn't work the way you would think it does. And there's no end turn button. So you have to drag your mouse down to hit end turn every time that you want to end your turn, which is maddening. There's a lot of just a lot of quality of life that I'm sure will get improved as time goes on, but I can't really review a game on what it will be. I have to talk about what it is, and what it is incredibly frustrating most of the time.
Excellent.
So in a game all about breeding cats, you're gonna end up having like dozens and dozens of cats. No way to organize them. And if you want to like look at the stats, you have to click on each one individually. There's no like list. There's no. And when I say click on them, I mean you have to find where they are in your giant house, zoom in, click on them. It brings up the screen, and then if you want to look at their like items and stuff in combat, you have to go into the backpack, tab over to the cat that you want to look at. It's a lot of just maddening stuff, to be honest, but I'm sure it'll all get ironed out.
That is unlike Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, and I mean there's other stuff as well, like your item storage is a big deal. Like you can only store so many items, so if you get a bunch of really good items on a run and then you come back, you have to weigh which ones you want to keep and which ones you have to get rid of. And I get that that's supposed to be like inventory management, part of the challenge, but there's nothing to do with the stuff you're throwing away. You literally just get rid of it. Like you don't get any money for it, you don't get to use it. It seems silly to me. And then within the maps, there's battles and then there's random events. I don't think the random events are particularly great. There's a couple different kinds. Some of them, and you have to do them, they're not like, you can't avoid them. Some of them, you click on it, it walks up and it just says, this happened, like Oregon Trail style.
Right.
This cat got dysentery. Or, the storm is rolling in, and then all the levels from then on are going to have rain, which, and like wind and stuff like that. Other ones, you walk up and it gives you a choice of like, do you want to help this person? Do you want to hurt them? That kind of thing. That's pretty standard. And then there's these other ones that are like stat checks, like skill checks. But you don't get to pick who's doing them. It's like it picks one of your 4 characters at random that's going to do this check. And it's like, why would I ever pick the option that isn't my highest stat? The only way... I guess I'm not explaining this very well. So, I'm thinking of an example where it says you walk up on a group of rats. What do? And there's the options are like sneak by them, attack them, reason with them. Sneak is going to be dexterity. Reason with them. Attack is going to be your strength, and then reason with them is going to be your intelligence. And it's like, okay, well, this is my fighter, so he has shit intelligence and shit movement, so obviously I'm going to attack. But in that instance, you have a higher chance of succeeding with sneaking around them than attacking them. So even though my stats are so much higher in this one, I'm not rewarded for picking it. And you can only really piece that out by doing it a couple times to remember what all these things are. I feel like your stats just don't have that big of an impact on what actually happens. And I hope that they kind of work that out to be a bit more clear moving forward.
Well, it sounds like they have a lot of room to improve, which is it could be good. Could always be good.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I just am not a huge fan of is the humor. It's that new. I mean, listen, I'm a child of the Newgrounds era. I get it. I think it's time to move on. It's a lot. It's very millennial coded. It's very gross for the sake of being gross. It's not very funny to just say shocking things, and there's a lot of dialogue. I think there's a real story. They're trying something with a real story, and it just... I'm not a fan. I'm really not. But there are some redeeming... I mean, the game is funny. Like, there are some parts of it that are funny. Like, if your cat has negative intelligence, whenever you go up to a random event, it's all just gibberish. It's like,
I have seen that.
Like, you can't read. Or if your cat has dyslexia, then you, like, transpose the numbers on all your attacks, so you might accidentally do 1 damage and you thought you were going to do, like, 10. That kind of stuff is fun and funny. But in terms of, like, the dialogue and the characters, it's just very cringe. Extremely cringe, actually.
That's another instance of Caves of Quood. That's very Caves of Quood. I know that there's issues with, you can get, like, I think it's like monochromia or something like that, and the entire game is in black and white, but I think another thing is that if you have, like, dyslexia or something like that, the game that is, like, all text-based is total gibberish, and it's, like, borderline unplayable.
Yeah, I mean, I like that kind of stuff, but I don't know about Caves of Quood, but in, like, this, the runs they can be short, so it's fine. It's just a little inconvenience, but if it was the whole game, that would be crazy.
Yeah. I know, oh, man. Caves of Quood review coming sometime within the next decade, I think. It's a lot of fun. But oh boy, especially with that Switch port that just came out, I'm playing that a little bit. Actually works.
Actually works. I thought there was gonna be more of that.
Okay. No, it just works. Would Dwarf Fortress work on Switch? Probably not. But
okay.
But Caves of Quood does.
Last little things here, and then I'll get out of here. I'll give some shout outs. I like that the challenge runs in Mewgenics are incorporated into progression. In Isaac, I felt like the challenge runs were just to unlock an item, and half the time it wasn't worth it, and usually just very frustrating. In this, you have to do the challenge runs to progress both the story and, like, unlock new areas and stuff, which is really cool. Negative shout out. I don't like watching the cats hump. It makes me uncomfortable.
They come out slimy.
I don't like it, and there is an option to turn it off, thank God. But I don't like that they included it at all.
Valid. However, funny.
That's my review in progress. Again, only in Act 1. I'm probably come back in like 100 hours and give you a full review.
Have you gotten the cat named Hatsune Miku yet?
I haven't gotten Hatsune Miku. I have gotten Northern Kitty, voiced by Northern Lion, which was pretty cool.
Excellent.
I also saw the Isaac cat, but I didn't keep it because it really made me uncomfortable. Because it was just a naked baby on all fours. So, yeah, there's a lot of weird shit in the game.
Yep, well, it sounds like Edmund.
Yeah. Yeah, also controversy noted, by the way. You know, Edmund's kind of a bad person, so I'm not, like, going out there to say go out and support him financially, but I just think it's a good game, so do with that information what you will. And that's my review so far.
Who am I to judge a bad person if he makes an addicting video game?
Hey, listen.
Clearly, all sins have been resolved.
Most video games are made by horrible people at this point in time, which is unfortunate, but...
You ever watch The Good Place?
Uh-huh.
Yep. That's how I feel about it.
Yep. Alright, so we're gonna be back in a bit, talking about Resident Evil, right? RE9's coming out, this week, I think? So
say it by its proper name, please.
Resident Evil Requiem is coming out. Requiem is coming out on February something, like very soon. Jonathan, you're gonna be playing it day one, right?
I will be, yeah. I heard they made Leon fat. Very excited. Fat
They
Leon.
certainly made him muscly. Have you seen those guns?
I have, but I'm gonna send you this image I found where it was it's like Donut Leon, like in Donut Drake in
Yeah.
Uncharted. It's like Donut Leon. It's like this is how he would have looked like if this game was realistic or something. Or there was one that was like they gave him like a receding hairline and like a Jack Nicholson like quintuple chin. And it was like, this is what he would look like in real life. And I was like, oh, yes!
Yeah, I can't wait for RE9. I'm doing my big catch-up right now. I know you're also catching up, so we'll have a lot to talk about. That's going to be in a couple weeks.
Should be fun.
All right, everybody. Hopefully I can get this edited and up pretty quickly, so maybe you're listening to this in fucking March. I don't know. But
Yippee!
Until next time, thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chasing the rats. All of my days I'm taking naps. That's where it's at. And in my dreams I'm the king.